All right, kids, here's our first test review for the year. This one is long, but we do that way so you have extra practice to do, so that when you get to the test, it's not quite as intimidating. So, first section, let's go ahead and get right into it. Simplify the following algebraic expressions. You'll notice, hopefully, that there are no equal signs in the questions, which means there are no equal signs in the answers. First thing I'm going to do for you, though, is to go ahead and eliminate number 1. That was a typo on my part. It's doable, but it's more complicated than it needs to be. So we're going to go to the ones that are not necessarily easy, but less complicated. So we're going to go to number 2. First thing you want to do when you're simplifying is to remove all of the parentheses by distributing. So negative 2 times 4x becomes negative 8x. Negative 2 times negative 1 becomes positive 2. 1/3 times 3x becomes 1x. And 1/3 times 9 becomes 3. Remember, it's the same as dividing by 3. Then you're going to go ahead and combine like terms. I have a negative 8x here. I have a positive 1x here. Those combine to make a negative 7x. I have a positive 2 and a positive 3, which is going to give me plus 5. Next one, same steps. Distribute. 2 times 3x is 6x. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. 2 times 5x is 10x. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Again, look for the like terms. 6x here, plus 10x here. 6 plus 10 gives me 16x. Then negative 6 and negative 2. Negative 6 minus 2 is negative 8. Last one. We have times negative 1/4. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide this first one by negative 4, and then we are going to multiply the second one. 12x divided by negative 4. And then we have plus 24 divided by negative 4. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. So we're going to leave these two last ones be while we simplify this. 12 divided by negative 4 is negative 3x. 24 divided by negative 4 is negative 6. I'm just going to drop these straight down because I didn't do anything to them in that step. I'm going to go ahead and combine like terms. Negative 3x plus 2x gives me negative x, or negative 1x, depending on how you want to look at it. And then I have negative 6 minus 8 gives me negative 14. None of my questions end with x equals because there's no equals in the question. There's not going to be any equals in the answer. These are just simplifying. Next step, solving for x. We have fractions all over the place, but we know how to deal with these, so we're not going to let them scare us. First thing we want to do on this question here with 3/5 times x minus 4 is to rewrite it so it makes more sense to us. It's a little bit simpler to deal with. Now take that parenthetical statement, the stuff inside the parentheses, and move it into the numerator. Okay. Next thing I want to do is I'm going to multiply both sides by the denominator of that fraction in order to eliminate the fraction. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 5. On the left, that cancels it out. Gives me just 3 times x minus 4. 9 times 5 is 45. Now I can distribute. Gives me 3x minus 12 equals 45. Now, if I wanted to go through the do and undo chart, I'm looking at x. It's being multiplied by 3. We are also subtracting 12. So to do the opposite, I would add 12 and divide by 3. First step is to add 12, which gives me 3x equals 57. Okay. My next step here would be to divide everything by 3. And once you do that, you will see that 57 divided by 3 equals 19. Okay, you might want to use your calculator for that one, but that's going to be the correct answer. Next step, again, we have a fraction, but remember, now it's just like this second step that we started with on the first problem. And the way we did that was we multiplied both sides by the denominator. So we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to multiply both sides of this equation by 2. Which will end up canceling out that first side, the left side, which leaves me with 2x plus 6. Then we would distribute the 2 into the parentheses. 2 times 5x becomes 10x. 2 2 times negative 1 becomes negative 2. Now we have x's on both sides here. Not a big deal. All we're going to do is move the baby to the mama. 2 is the baby, so I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. So that's gone. Leaves me with 6 equals 8x minus 2. Then I can use my do and undo chart if I so choose. Here's my x. It is being multiplied by 8, and we are subtracting 2. So to counter that, we are going to add 2 and divide by 8. Okay, so first, plus 2 plus 2. 6 plus 2 is 8 equals 8x. Next step is to divide by 8. And in this case, 1 equals x. Done. Next problem has fractions on both sides. But remember, we talked about this before. When you have a problem like this, it's just like a proportion. So you're just going to cross multiply. Okay? So it becomes 1 times 5x plus 2 equals 1 times x minus 2. We distribute, but I'm going to take a shortcut on this one because anytime you multiply something times 1, it becomes that same thing. So basically we're just saying these two things are the same. We're going to do the same thing we did before, which is to move the baby to the mama. This is my baby x, so I'm going to subtract x from both sides. Cancels here. 5x minus 1x gives me 4x plus 2 equals negative 2. Now I need to look here. What's happening to x? It is being multiplied by 4, and we are adding 2. So to undo that, we're going to subtract 2 and divide by 4. So minus 2 minus 2. Cancels on the left. Gives me 4x equals negative 4. That's the first step. Next step is to divide by 4. Negative 4 divided by 4 gives me x equals negative 1. There's my answer to that one. Number 8 is the easiest of the bunch. It's already set up in a form where we can start right away using my do and undo chart. There's my x. It is being multiplied by 5, and we are subtracting 9. The opposites of those to solve are going to be to add 9 and divide by 5. So let's go ahead with it. Plus 9 on both sides. Plus 9, plus 9. These cancel, leaves me with 5x equals 25. Step 1 done. Next step, divide by 5 on both sides, and we get x equals 5. There's your first section. I'm going to take a break between each page to make sure that we have enough time and I don't run over, because sometimes that makes these videos hard to watch.